Morning. It's time for our daily lectionary reading for Monday, August 2nd. Normally this would be a live, but not today. We're pre-recording because I'm not at work today. It's moving day. We are moving. So after you read this and you're convicted and you say, I should go help Pastor Russ move. You can come to the new house on South Oneida and help us put stuff away if you really feel so moved. But anyway, we're just recording this ahead of time because I'm not in the office. What do we have? We have Samuel 50 or Psalm 50, 16 to 23. We are back. Last week we had this detour away from Second Samuel, First and Second Samuel, into Exodus and Joshua, and so now we're back. We started with yesterday with Nathan confronting David, and we continue that. So we have Second Samuel 12, 15 to 25, and then Ephesians 4, 17 to 24. So let's dive right in, shall we? But to the wicked, God says, what right have you to recite my statutes or take my covenant on your lips? For you hate discipline and you cast my words behind you. You make friends with a thief when you see one, and you keep company with adulterers. You give me your mouth free rein for evil, and your tongue frames deceit. You sit and speak against your kin, and you slander your own mother's child. These things you have done, and I've been silent. You thought that I was one just like yourself, but now I rebuke you and lay the charge before you. Mark this then, you who forget God, or I will tear you apart and there will be no one to deliver. Those who bring thanksgiving as their sacrifice honor me, and those who go the right way, I will show the salvation of God. This is one of those, our selection, I don't know why they cut these when they do. We have passage before. Well, it's not going to let me. I got to do it this way. Sorry. We start in verse 15, which is odd. So Samuel confronts David. Nathan confronts David. Um, and that passage ends, now the Lord has put away your sin, you shall not die. Nevertheless, because by this deed you have utterly scorned the Lord, and the child that is born to you shall die. And then there's today's passage, is the next sentence. Then Nathan went to his house. So Nathan makes this proclamation that David's child is going to die because of what David did, because of David's sin, and then Nathan goes home. Then Nathan went to his house. The Lord struck the child that Uriah's wife bore to David, and it became very ill. David therefore pleaded with God for the child. David fasted and went in and lay all night on the ground. The elders of his house stood beside him, urging him to rise from the ground, but he would not, nor did he eat food with them. And on the seventh day, the child died. And the servants of David were afraid to tell him that the child was dead. For they said, while the child was still alive, and we spoke to him, and he did not listen to us, how then can we tell him the child is dead? He may do himself some harm. But when David saw that his servants were whispering together, he perceived that the child was dead. And David said to his servants, is the child dead? They said, he is dead. And David rose from the ground, washed, anointed himself, and changed his clothes. He went into the house of the Lord and worshipped. He then went to his own house, and when he asked, they set food before him, and he ate. And then his servant said to him, what is this thing that you've done? You fasted and wept for the child when it was alive, but when the child died, you rose and ate food. And he said, while the child was still alive, I fasted and wept. For I said, who knows, the Lord may be gracious to me, and the child may live. But now he is dead, why shall I fast? Can I bring him back again? I shall go to him, but he will not return with me. And then David consoled his wife Bathsheba and went to her and lay with her. And she bore a son, and he named him Solomon. And the Lord loved him and sent a message to the prophet Nathan, by the prophet Nathan. So he named him Jedediah because of the Lord. And Jedediah means beloved of the Lord. All right. Ephesians 4:17-24, the old life and the new. Now this I affirm and insist on in the Lord. You must no longer live as the Gentiles live in the futility of their minds. They are darkened in their understanding, alienated from the life of God because of their ignorance and hardness of heart. They have lost all sensitivity and have abandoned themselves to licentiousness, greedy to practice every kind of impurity. And that is not the way you learned Christ. Surely you have heard about him and were taught in him as truth is in Jesus. You were taught to put away your former way of life, your old self, corrupt and deluded by its lusts, to be renewed in the spirit of your minds, and to clothe yourselves with the new self, created according to the likeness of God, in true righteousness and holiness. We should not live like the world around us. People should be able to watch us and see a difference. How the Spirit should manifest. And that's all I've got for you today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.